Well, this sure isn't the 770. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are blind tine weeding. So Maverick and Iceman finished planting beans on Saturday, I believe. Today's Tuesday, which means weed control has already started. Now, we had already been blind tine weeding, but obviously you guys have only pretty much seen spring tillage. But we're moving on to summer tillage, kinda. Anyway, let's move fields and I'll pick you guys back up when I get there. I always have a thing, in the spring I never wear shorts, even if it's really hot out. In the past week it has been, because changing sweeps on a cultivator, you just get full of dust, and yeah, I don't know why I just wasted your time with that. But we're wearing shorts like a real farmer. Next thing you know, I'll be wearing Crocs. Anyway, blind tine weeding, guys. I think I've done a video on this, so obviously the beans, as you can tell, are not up yet. Hence, blind tine weeding. So what I do, or what we all do when we're blind tine weeding, you set it from the cab. You can adjust the tines, how aggressive they are, how far the baskets are down to the ground. So, but you really don't know how far you're going. You really don't, so you gotta come out and check. And as the alpha camera pick it up, you can see the planter rows, like where they planted. So then you just come behind here, line up on a row, and dig down until you find the beans. Here is a bean. Here we go. So you can see they are germinated. You can see that little sprout right there. These will be popping through in no time. Put that little guy back in there. So as you guys can tell, that bean was, I mean, a ½ inch below what I've been working, which is perfect. So yeah, I like the way that this is set. There's quite a bit of trash in this field. This was corn last year. We just started farming this field this spring, so we only worked it up once before we planted, which may or may not have been a mistake. I don't know if it was a mistake, but it would have been nice to work it up twice. And I'm sure the camera picked it up. There is still moisture down there, like 2-3 inches down. There's quite a bit of moisture. So we did plant into moisture, which is good. How many times can I say moisture in one clip? So this is a 60-foot Hodson Bickler tine weeder, and I'm running a 8320 RT John Deere tractor. And you know what? I remember when we got this tractor brand new, and it was my favorite tractor to run. And you know what? It still is a great tractor to run. I like it. It has the IVT transmission. It's smooth. It runs good. Is it a 770 or an ARX? No. But you know what? I'm in a tractor, so I don't really care. It's still a really nice tractor. I do have my preset speed at about 11.5. I'm usually around 10.5 to 11. Really, as long as those baskets aren't bouncing really aggressively or bouncing at all, I can pretty much go as fast as I want. As you guys can tell, I'm making quite a bit of dust. We haven't had rain in about 2 weeks, so Jason, I'm going to complain about not having rain. Now, this is just one of probably 3 or 4 tools that we will use on this field for weed control, and this is the first pass. I think I said earlier, they finished planted beans in this field on Saturday, so this is 3 days removed from the last planting. That's why those beans are pretty well germinated. You guys are bouncing around a lot right now. I would expect those beans to pop through hopefully later in the week. If we got a shot of rain, there's chances on Thursday. They'd probably pop through pretty well on Saturday or Sunday, so that's exciting. But yeah, this is the very first pass and last pass of blind tine weeding that we will do on this field, but it's not the last pass of weed control. Later today I'll be going to run a laser weeder, so I'm going to familiarize myself with that before I take you guys there and try to explain what I'm doing, because I probably don't have a very good idea of what I'm doing already. That's probably with most things. But no, on a real note, I'm going to go run the laser weeder after this field. This is actually the last field that I have to blind tine weed. It's actually the last field we're going to blind tine weed all year. So we're going to be done with this and moving on to the next thing here pretty soon. I believe Max and Sam might have cultivators hooked up running across corn right now, but I'm not 100% sure. I know we've been running row tines, so that's the same unit as this. We just take out the tines that would go through the row, or like through the row of corn to damage the corn. And obviously we don't want to do that. So we take the tines out, and then we have all the tines besides the ones that go through the row of corn, and they just work up everything in the middle of the row and right next to the row of corn and or beans. And I will definitely take a video of that, because I'm going to be doing summer tillage until the middle of July. So there'll be plenty of videos on that, don't you worry. We also brought Max's fridge from his semi, which is pretty nice. I know this is not a comparison video, but just putting this out there. Compared to the 770, this thing is like a shoebox. I was getting pretty used to the space in that tractor, and this, you can definitely tell, is significantly less cab space than that tractor, but I think that's to be expected. Anyway, enough of that. Comment how you guys are doing. If you're a farmer, comment if you're done in the field. We finished up, I think Mike had one more field to plant on Monday. They were tiling it, so I'm not sure they're even done tiling, and if they're not done tiling, we didn't plant. So technically we're probably not done with planting, but we very well could be. I just don't know 100% sure. So we're just gonna say we're done with planting. I know we've talked extensively last year about turn tracks and staying in the same turn rows as the planter did, and that's so we don't have as much compaction on the end rows. Obviously, when you do as many passes as we do across our fields, compaction is a big problem that we try to minimize as much as possible. So Max and Sam, otherwise known as Iceman and Maverick, when they plant the field, usually we have AutoPath, this tractor doesn't, so they text me where they started and how they kind of planted the field. That way I have an idea. That way I don't have to make new turn tracks with this tractor. I don't think the camera will pick it up, but you can see this row that my track's going on right now. This is the same track that Max and Sam planted on. And when I turn on this end, I'm obviously going to turn this way. The planter did the same exact thing. And every single tractor with either a cultivator, rotary hoe, whatever we use in this field, will use the same exact turn tracks and the same exact line as the planter did. Another thing I want to talk about, I don't know if Max mentioned this in his planting videos, but we did have AutoPath on our planters this year. So there was a globe on the tractor and a globe on the planter. So the planter was recording the exact path that the planter took, not the tractor. So I can go on my screen, this tractor, it's not working on it, but AutoPath pretty much means you don't have to change your AB line ever. The tractor will just do it for you, and then you don't have to ever worry about not having the right track. It just kind of simplifies everything and makes it more efficient. But back to the job at hand. So blind tine weeding, why do we do this? We do this to set back the weeds as much as possible. That way when the corn and beans pop through, they don't have to compete with the weeds as much for sunlight and water. Now as you guys and myself were cultivating in front of the planters, there was at least 3 or 4 guys that were blind tine weeding. So we've been doing this for at least a month, or pretty dang close to it. Pretty much since we started planting corn, about 2 days after that, we've had tine weeders going. So we've tine weeded all the corn acres, some of it twice, and this is the last field of beans. So we've already done one pass of not cultivation, but we've done one pass of weed control, and we're starting the second pass and third passes on some fields of corn. And once these beans pop through, we'll probably bring a tine weeder back with the rows taken out, like I mentioned before, and tine weed it again. There's a full-on tornado going through this field. To me, this pass of tine weeding has always kind of signified the beginning of organic farming, because it's kind of the first thing that we do that's different than the majority of farmers. We're not out spraying, we're out tine weeding. And after that, we're going to tine weed again, and then rotary hoe or cultivate some of those things, but we're never going to be spraying these fields. So I feel like this is kind of the start of the difference between organic farming and conventional farming. Obviously there are things that conventional farmers do and that we do that are different in the fall to prep the field for the spring, and in the spring there's different things that other farmers do compared to what we do. But to me this has always kind of been the first thing that is really different than a conventional farmer. Now I do know that some conventional farmers do use mechanical weed control to control their weeds. They don't just spray a few times and then go to the lake for the summer. I do understand that. I will say I do not understand the rotation of spraying, so if someone that is a conventional farmer would comment down below what they do spray and when they do spray it, I think I'd find it kind of interesting, because I'm probably never going to do that. Now this is a completely unrelated note from what I've been talking about for the past 7-8 minutes, but these smacking sunflower seeds, they're actually very good. Obviously, with spending a lot of hours in the tractor, as I do, like to snack on things, sunflower seeds being one of them. I think I went through like 2 bags of those today, and it's only 11:30, so this is not a paid promotion or a partnership. If they would want to, you know, if they find this video and say, hey, we want to get into the farming space of social media with our sunflower seeds, hit me up. My email's in the description. Anywho, back to farming. If this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll come back and pick up this rock. At least it's flagged and no one hit it. Good thing I was paying attention. Yeah, if anyone wants a organically raised rock, 20 bucks. Yep, there you go, $20 for a non-GMO, organic, cruelty, cage-free raised rock. $20 or best offer. Giving you guys a little sneak peek at the laser weeder. We are absolutely breaking land record speeds right now. But you know what? You're gonna have to subscribe for that video on this laser weeder. Should be coming out hopefully this week. Anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed watching kind of the first pass of organic weed control, I guess you could call it. If you did enjoy it, if you guys did enjoy today's video, leave a like. As always, subscribe if you're not subscribed for more farming content and to see a video on this thing. Anyway, catch you in the next one.